Pranamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. So we are doing a series on self-realization. Who has to realize what? Or how can I realize the self? And there are many paths discussed in the Google. If you go ask for information, you get all sorts of answers and all sorts of opinions. So therefore we are examining what should be valid from the structural point, from the logical point, and we'll go into Anubhava also. Here we're talking about universal, across the board, the logic as well as the experience of people as a basis for analysis, supported by the scripture. Scripture plus yukti. Yukti means logic plus anubhava. These are the order of the basis. Why Vedanta is a pramana, or why the highest truth is pramana, means of knowledge. We already discussed that in one of our talks. So now question we are posing is, if I am infinite, or aham brahmasmi, that's my true nature, how did I become a local jiva? And what about other jivas or other individuals? Because I see life pulsating everywhere. And what exactly they are? If they are also Brahman and I am Brahman, we are having a problem, because he is Brahman and I am Brahman. Brahman can only be one, because that's an infinite. So one became many jivas, or one became I am and the rest are not jivas. What exactly is this? Has to be clear, because this is where a lot of theories come and people have their own opinions and objections and all that kundalini raising and all that comes into picture. We will discuss those kundalini aspects later, but at least basis should be clear. So first, number one, if I am infinite, how can I become ignorant jiva? That's a basic fundamental question. Now first answer, we go through series of answers as we analyze the system. First answer is that Brahman can never become ignorant. Brahman can never become ignorant. Why? Because he is Brahman. In infinite, there is no question of ignorance versus knowledge. There cannot be divisions of any kind. It is pure Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That's why the scripture is defining also. It is of the nature of existent and of the nature of consciousness, or consciousness which exists. And it is limitless, therefore it is Anantam. Anantam is infinite. That's called Brahman. And since it is limitless, it is also Ananda Swarupam. Swarupam means its intrinsic nature itself is happiness, being infinite. So in the infinite there is no divisions of any kind. So there cannot be ignorance rising in the infinite. And the infinite cannot have anything as ignorant and then becoming knowledgeable. If ignorance is intrinsic nature of Brahman, it can never become knowledgeable, because it's intrinsic nature. Therefore, you cannot get rid of the ignorance. You are permanently doomed. So that we don't accept it. So therefore, from the point of absolute truth, the infinite Brahman, it is nothing of any kind, no jiva, no individual, no God, no world, no any differentiation of any kin. That's what we said. Sajati, Vijati, Swagata, Beda, Rahitam. Rahitam means not having it. Of what? All kinds of differences. Differences of the same species, difference between different species, and difference of internal differences. All that kind will not be there. And that's why scripture says, Ekam eva advitiyam. What was there before creation? Says existence alone was there. Sadeva saumya idamagram asid ekam eva advitiyam. It is one without a second. It is because it's infinite. There is no differences of any kind. That's what the scripture says. Now that's why Vedanta is Pramana. It's not nothing to do with the particular religion. Religion is separate from the truth. This is a truth statement. The statement is what was there before creation is existence. That's a Vedanta. Any scripture says that's a Vedanta, because Vedanta means ultimate knowledge. So any scripture, if it says what was there before creation, not in the Father in heaven or this or that, pure existence is of the nature of that infinite Brahman. Is it inert existence or is it conscious existence? So we need another statement to say what it is. Therefore it says, Tadaichada Bahusyam Prada Eti. It saw. It says Tadaichada means that saw. How can infinite see? Because there is nothing to see, number one. And seeing is a capacity of only conscious entity. So it's only an indication that what was there is a conscious existence. That's what it says. Since it saw, there must be something else to see. So there must be inert things also, according to Bhagavan Ramanuja. So in the same Brahman you have conscious entities and you have unconscious entities. That's why you call it internal differences are there. To negate that, in the other statement, Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is infinite. So Brahman is, it's not Brahman is consciousness, it says consciousness is the infinite. What's the difference? When I say consciousness is infinite, it's called necessary and sufficient condition. In mathematics, you have a necessary condition and a sufficient. If you say Brahman is conscious entity, that's only necessary condition. It's like sugar is sweet. It's a necessary condition. It has to be sweet. Sugar, if it has to be sweet. A converse statement, we say sweet is sugar. That means it is necessary and sufficient. That means there cannot be anything other than the sugar which is sweet. Obviously there are other things which are sweet also, like we have equal and Splenda, all other things which are sweet. And therefore sugar alone is not sweet. Therefore sweet is sugar. Converse statement is not valid. It's only necessary but not sufficient. So for sufficiency unnecessary, you need a converse statement. So Brahman is consciousness is one statement, direct statement. If I say consciousness is Brahman, so if there is a consciousness, it has to be infinite. Therefore, anywhere it is consciousness, there cannot be inert things in principle. All this follows clearly, systematically. So Brahman is consciousness and consciousness is Brahman, and that is of the nature of existence and consciousness, and it is limitless, and therefore it is Ananda. Therefore Sat Chit Ananda or Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Consciousness is same as Jnanam, knowledge also. It's not knowledge of. So if you ask what is a knowledge, go and ask Google and say what is knowledge. It cannot define knowledge. Why? Definition is always knowledge of something else. A knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of physics, knowledge of biology, and so on. But what exactly is knowledge? Undefinable. Here scripture says knowledge is infinite, therefore undefinable. It is of the nature of consciousness. When I say I have knowledge of, means I am conscious of that. So consciousness and knowledge are synonyms in the absolute sense. not knowledge of, means I am conscious of chemistry knowledge, actually, chemistry information or chemistry facts. That's what, when I say I have chemistry knowledge. Now, first thing we learned is infinite cannot become anything also. Infinite cannot have ignorance because it is infinite, because there is no distinctions of any kind. Infinite is of the nature of pure existent consciousness and limitless. Sir, okay. Then tell me, how did I become? If I am infinite, how did I become infinite? Because it looks like I have become something, and you said I have ignorance of myself, and therefore I am taking all the 9 years we went through. But how did it start? If the Brahman cannot become something, then how did I become ignorant then? What do you call ignorant? Does Brahman have ignorance or I have ignorance? If I am Brahman, then Brahman has ignorance. All these things come into picture. That's why people say Brahman cannot be ignorant. Therefore, the statement that ignorance was there before itself is wrong. All that gada, all the commentaries are there, and one gets thoroughly confused. And therefore, one has to have a crystal clear understanding of what this is all about. So, how do we explain it? That's why we go back to scripture. How does scripture explain how one without a second became many? And in the Chandogya Upanishad, there are several Upanishads talk about it from different angles. In the Chandogya Upanishad, how existence conscious entity become many. So there, the teacher starts with the statement that to his student, his own son is a Svetaketu, his own son, says, have you learned that from which, knowing which you know everything? I think we mentioned this about before. Says, have you learned that? Says, there cannot be, because if I know chemistry, I won't know biology, I don't know physics. I wish I know. But I had to study each subject separately. And the more I subject, the more subject opens up. I cannot be specialist of even in one subject, a topic also. Now, how can I know anything else beyond that? So it's impossible. That's what the student says. He says it's possible if one knows the cause, all the effects that are modifications of the cause. You're talking about material cause. If a material cause is there, all products of the material is as much or known, as though known. And he gives an example. And these are the beautiful examples that scripture points out how one which is not, cannot become into many, appears to be many. Quote unquote, appears to be many. How? Says in the Chandogya, there are 3 examples are given. We can take any example to illustrate the process. It says, just as gold becoming into many ornaments. So what is beautiful is the gold becoming into many ornaments, still remaining as gold. So that is what essentially a transformation. In science, we study all sorts of transformations. We call a reversible transformation, call a irreversible transformations, and so on. Where reversible transformation is, it can go back and forth, like ice becoming water, water becoming ice, ice becoming steam, or water becoming steam, steam becoming water. These are called reversible transformations. There are irreversible transformations where it can go only in one direction, because other process is not possible. Like the milk becoming a yogurt or curds. So this is a one directional process called irreversible. I cannot make again the curds into milk. The same way there are irreversible process. Now what exactly this transformation of Brahman into many, what kind of transformation? Is it irreversible or reversible? And here is the beauty of the scripture. It says it is neither of that, it is only apparent transformation. It's not neither irreversible nor irreversible. It's only appears to be there is a transformation, but there is no really transformation. That's the beauty of the scripture. That's why Vedanta becomes a pramana. Pramana means means of knowledge. If any other scripture says same thing, then it's that also Pramana. That's Vedanta. So Vedanta, we don't specify a particular textbook, but we put is the truth that are indicated by these statements. This may not be how the traditional Vedantins interpret, but I'm looking from the rationalistic point. Any scripture that tells you the truth in this way, properly identifying, then that is the highest truth, and highest truth is called Vedanta. Now, gold becoming into many ornaments, say they have a ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet. Now, looking at that example, so if I take a ring is different from a bangle is different from a bracelet. So ring has its own attributes different from the bangle that has its own attributes. Attributes means its qualities. Ring has certain OD, outside diameter, that's the inside diameter, ID, and it has some ellipticity. Instead of circle, it kind of elliptical shape. All that is property of the ring, which are different from the properties of the bangle. Properties are called attributes. So attributes of the bangle is different from attributes of the ring, which are different from attributes of the necklace. So now ring has attributes, bangle has attributes, necklace has attributes. Conversely, attributes that has all the ring attributes, then it is a ring. You call it a ring because it has of certain size, and size can be smaller and bigger within the limits of that. It's not a bangle, but it's still a ring. It has to go into the finger. So unless the finger has become a big hand, it is of particular size, and it has all other ID, ODs, and each ring may be different from other ring, but each ring has its own attributes. But the general characteristics, which are called jati, or all family of rings have certain things that make them a ring and not a bangle. Here, that's what jati means. And the bangle attributes are different from the ring and different from the necklace, and each ornament has its own attributes. So within the jati, rings are different from a bangle, bangles are different from a necklaces, and within the necklace, each necklace is different from other necklace because the attributes of that this necklace is different from attributes of the other necklace. The size may be different, the thickness may be different, shape may be different, but still they are all necklaces only. So we have within the sajati, vijati, swagata vedas, all there in the effects, which are called the rings and the bangles and the necklace and the bracelets and all that, are effects from one cause, which is gold. But gold is undergone as though a transformationless transformation. Gold says, I have never become a ring and a bangle and a necklace. I am existing in the form of a ring, existing in the form of a bangle, existing in the form of necklace, existing in varieties, infinite varieties. But I am just gold. I was gold, I am gold, I will be gold. I have not changed anything. Only so-called superficial attributes of each one is different. So rings attributes only belong to ring, but it's actually gold only. So if you look at it, its a weight depends upon how much gold it is. Its cost mostly depends upon the gold content. So it's nothing but a gold only, but appearing as many. So appearance can be different, but intrinsically the essence is the same, number one. And from the essence point, it has not really transformed anything, it only appears as many. So one cause appearing as many, that's called material cause. So gold appearing as many is the material from which they came, by which it is sustained. That way means the gold supports a ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet. Gold cannot be separated from the ring. So this is your ring. So I keep the gold, you keep the ring. You cannot do it. So wherever the ring, there is a gold. Wherever the necklace, there is a gold. Wherever there is a bracelet, there is a gold. So if the ring thinks I am only a ring and I want to become gold, then it has a problem. It's identifying itself with the local attributes of its form, color, so on, forgetting its essence is nothing but the gold. Follow? All these things applied because the scriptural statement using this example to indicate what it is. So gold transformation into many is called apparent transformation, and the scripture, the Vedanta or Chandogya Upanishads in the 6th chapter called Sadvidya, it says it is nothing but Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadeyam. The statement has to be understood clearly. This is a Vedantic statement. All Acharyas who feel that Vedanta is a means of knowledge have to interpret this correctly. So the transformationless transformation, and that's called Vivarta. Vivarta means transformationless transformation. Parinama is a irreversible transformations, like milk becoming into yogurt. Whereas this is not like that kind of example. It says it's only gold becoming into many ornaments, or clay becoming into many pots, or the wrought iron becoming into many tools. These are the 3 examples given in the Chandogya. So therefore, in the same way, pure existence, which is of the nature of consciousness and infinite, became many by transformationless transformation. So it did not really become, but appears to be become. Why? Why gold becoming into ornaments? So gold becoming ornaments is, if you ask gold, why did you become ornaments? Beda, I can become anything I want. I can be in many varieties and names and forms. These are called my vibhuti, my glory, because I am malleable or ductile enough that I can appear or form in any way that possible. Yeah? So therefore, in the 10th chapter of Gita, Krishna talks about the Vibhuti Yoga, where the glory of myself, look at that, I am this, everything he point out, and ultimately he says, how can I point out? Because my Vibhuti is infinite, unaccountable, because millions of forms are there, and each form is so brilliantly beautiful, and that's all my glory is. Look at my glory, Arjuna. So therefore, I have to see the whole Brahman is nothing but appearing. So Brahman has not become a jeeva, but Brahman appears to be many jivas. That's the example from that. Therefore, who has the ignorance? When I say the ring appears to have an ignorance because it thinks only I am a ring, I am limited space-wise, time-wise. When I get destroyed, I become something else in the next life, and I have a date of birth and date of death. All that ring may complain because it's identifying itself as I am only a ring. But if we understand, even though being a ring, it can understand I am actually gold, and the gold in me is the same as gold in other, because I am AU. AU is the symbol for gold. I am the gold here, I am the gold there, I am gold. It's my beauty, I am in this form. In the next time I may become a bangle, and that's also me only. So shifting understanding from dropping the identification with the local attributive content of an individual to glorify, re-identifying, re-educating. By ring gets a re-education that the self in me is self in all. The gold in me is the gold in all. There is no difference in gold. Only difference is in attributes of this form different from attributes of that form. Those attributes are only superimpositions on gold only, and can be rejected because they are not really real. What's real is that which cannot be negated is real, and that which cannot be negated is absolute, which is truth. So All these have to be clear. That's why Vedanta has to be clearly understood, because a lot of misinterpretations are also there, and therefore one has to understand clearly, logically, and make sure it is self-consistent, are called Tattva Samanvaya. That's one of the Brahma Sutra says that everything has to be self-consistent, because this is a science of reality. So who is ignorant? Brahman has not really become a jiva, but Brahman appears to be jivas. But if the appearance is taken as a real, then there is a problem. The problem is, if the appearance that I am appearing in this form, appearing in that form, appearing in that form, then appearance is taken as a real, then I have a real problem to solve it. So it's drop the reality that I have given to it and concentrate on the very essence of yourself. That self-realization involves, therefore, trying to know my truth, my essence, leaving all attributive contents. Ring has to concentrate the essence, leaving the external superimposed attributes of the ring. Then it realizes that I am a gold. And gold in me is same as gold in other. Therefore, I am infinite gold occurring in many ornaments. That becomes a ring's knowledge. Now, who has the problem? Gold doesn't have any problem. Gold says, I am ring, bangle, necklace, everything else also. The ring has a problem who thinks I am only a ring and not a gold. So when I don't know myself who I am, I take myself only the external attributes that are appearances as a real me, and therefore that ring needs an education that you are not the ring, but you are the gold appearing in the form of a ring. Follow? That becomes a knowledge. So who is a jiva? How did Brahman become a jiva? So Brahman has not become anything. It appears to be many, and appearance has taken a real at the level of a jiva. Appearance that I am a ring is taken at the level of ring. Bangle thinks I am only a bangle. Necklace thinks only I am a necklace. I think I am only an individual. You think you are different. She is different. He is different. All differences are only attributive content. As an essence, I do not have attributes because I am infinite. Infinite cannot have any attributes. Even infinite is a word that we use that to differentiate all the finite. So all these things have to be clear, because when Raman says, how can Brahman cannot have attributes? Nirguna. How can he be? Nirguna means he doesn't have any wrong attributes, or the doshas, or bad attributes he doesn't have. He is Ananta Kalyana Gunam. Ananta Kalyana means infinite auspicious qualities he has, and each quality in itself is infinite, and that's what is essentially he interprets Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is also an object of worship. Whereas in the Advaita Vedanta, Brahman is I am Brahman, not I am God. That's misinterpretation. No Advaitans say I am God. It says I am Brahman means essence of the infinite, pure existent consciousness, Satchidananda, where there is no Ishvara or Jivas there. It is pure exist Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Now we understand a little bit what is a Jiva, and we go more into details of what is Jiva, and also what about the world. So we need to understand in the process, in the self-realization, not only I have to realize who I am, also I have to realize what is this world. Otherwise we will have a lot of problems. And that has to be important. This we go into details in the next two talks. So this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.